Did you know that the color of objects remain relatively constant under varying illumination conditions? A yellow banana looks yellowish to us at midday when the main illumination is white sunlight, and also at sunset when the main illumination is reddish. This helps us identify objects. Surprisingly, the human eye can function from very dark to very bright levels of light. And the human perceives colors quite constantly despite of the changing spectral distribution of the illuminant. This is mainly thanks to the wonderful adaptation of the human eyes. In addition, the effect of color memory supports our constant color viewing. We first learn about the color adaptation. The color adaptation has two phenomena. One is light adaptation, and the other is the chroma adaptation. Let's learn about the light adaptation first. The human eye can function from very dark to very bright levels of light. Do our eyes have such great capability, both to sense very low luminance and at the same time to endure very high luminance? No. The secret is that in any given moment of time, our eye can only sense a contrast ratio of 1000. What enables the wider reach is that the eye adapts its definition of what is black. The eye becomes 10,000 to 1,000,000 times more sensitive in darkness than at full daylight. If we talk about dark adaptation and light adaptation, typically these are related to activation of rod cells and cone cells. As we have learned, we have two types of photoreceptors. They are rod cells and cone cells. In a very dark ambience, rod cells are only activated, and we call this scotopic adaptation. The eye takes approximately 20 to 30 minutes to fully adapt to the darkness from bright sunlight. I think any tunnel should be brighter than the threshold luminance for the human scotopic vision. However, still, we need some time to get adapted to the dark ambience inside of the tunnel when we enter. Also, when we exit the tunnel, especially when the outside is very bright, again, it is hard to see anything. The eye takes time to adapt the black in that given illuminant. But the light adaptation indicates that the shift of our vision adaptation to the photopic vision when the cone cells are activated. The process for light adaptation occurs over a period of 5 minutes. Both dark adaptation and light adaptation indicate the changes in the visual system that approximately compensate for changes in the level of the given illumination. In parallel, the human eye has another great adaptation, that is the chroma adaptation. The chroma adaptation indicates the changes in the visual system that approximately compensate for changes in the spectral quality of the given illumination. In a previous video lecture, I asked you about the most apparative looking image among four because apparently the four looks quite different from each other, as presented in this slide. However, when you were in any of the illumination in reality, the color of the bibimbap dish should appear quite similar because your visual system is adapted to the spectral quality of the given illuminant. The physiological basis for chroma adaptation involves specialized neurons and the primary visual cortex that compute local ratios of cone activity. Chroma adaptation works properly when we see various colors. the different cone cells of the eye register different but overlapping ranges of wavelengths of the light reflected by every object in the scene. From this information, the visual system attempts to determine the approximate composition of the illuminating light. This illumination is then discounted in order to obtain the object's true color or reflectance. Reflectance means the wavelengths of light which the object reflects. This reflectance then largely determines the perceived color. By the way, the chromatic adaptation sometimes confuses us. Nowadays, we spend more time in viewing displays than ever before. Because our visual system is adapted to the spectral quality of the ambient, we judge the display color as bluish in reddish illumination or yellowish in bluish illuminant. In fact, the chromatic quality of the display remains identical. Perhaps an idea of adaptive display must consider our chromatic adaptation. Our second ability for the constant color viewing is based on the psychology of color memory. How many times have you seen bananas? Through the accumulative experience of singing bananas, you have formed a typical engagement between banana and vivid yellow. The color memory compensates for poor or unusual color rendering. Do you see a color in this circle? Is this vivid yellow? Definitely not. What about now? In the context of bananas, yes, it is kind of vivid yellow, but just in shadow. Due to the color memory, as far as we recognize it as a part of bananas, any yellowish colors easily come down to vivid yellow. Therefore, color memory helps us constant color viewing. Supported by our color adaptation and color memory, eventually our color experience is relatively constant, even though the illuminants become darker, brighter, or chromatically different. Thank you for your attention.